symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. That is Nick over there. This is Ryan over here. And today, Nick, it's SummerSlam time.
Summerfest.
Actually, it isn't SummerSlam time. We're about a month early this year in July, so we're a little caught off guard here. But we are still going to bring you our lead up to SummerSlam with the review of possibly the worst SummerSlam of all time. Nick, 1995. Maybe the worst main event in SummerSlam history. Maybe a worst lot of things here. Let me take you back to 95. Hey, the word of the day. Maybe the worst year in WWE history. Were you still watching at this point? Because a lot of people weren't, man. They were tuned out. Take me where you were watching this pay-per-view as a kid, if you did catch it when it was out.
The SummerSlam!
Yes, I was still watching, and I know I'm not supposed to use the word casual fan, but I think I was.
There is none.
I know, I was a casual fan. I didn't get every In Your House pay-per-view in 95. I did get WrestleMania. I did get SummerSlam.
And Summerfest!
But, a lot of those, I missed the In Your House. I wasn't there. I don't know are they still running? I think Raw's running at that point, isn't it?
Yep.
In
2 years. 2 years.
I
deep.
wasn't up and watching every Raw. If I caught it, I caught it, but it was, they had some of those guys that the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel. There were a lot of guys, Sid, who I did like still, but there was so much bad.
Yeah.
And
we're going to get to that on this show. What do you think of it when you watched it? Personally, I haven't seen it since. I have seen the ladder match a couple of times since, but that's been 20 plus years ago. I remember I don't know that I watched this entire thing. I think we went outside and played basketball a couple of times during this pay-per-view because we just weren't interested.
Fucking thing sucks!
I was similar to the WrestleMania 11. Really regretted it after buying it because back then I had to beg my parents for the money to get these pay-per-views. That's why you couldn't get every pay-per-view. Well, at least I couldn't. My parents weren't going to pop out $60 or whatever it was. So
$39.99.
Yeah, and after WrestleMania, I remember on 11, I was like, God, I wish I didn't ask my parents to buy for it because it was it was terrible.
That's terrible.
And then I felt the same way after this. It was just, there wasn't a match on here that I was like, if I see again, I could care. I mean, the ladder match is okay. But yeah, I would really regretted buying this pay-per-view.
Well, we're going to get into it. It's headlined by Diesel and Mabel, possibly the worst opponent ever. They said, at least at the time, that Diesel was the worst drawing guy of all time. Well, how can you blame him when he's facing people like freaking Mabel, But they still sold at the Igloo in Pittsburgh. I believe the first major pay-per-view in Pittsburgh, sellout, 18,000. So, I mean, they didn't have trouble doing that. Buy rate 0.9. That's about just over 200,000, which isn't great. But, man, for as bad as things were, they'll probably take that.
They're stacked with faces, Ryan. They have no heels at this point in the game. They kind of shot their wad, if you will, with Sid. Maybe he should have feuded with Shawn after WrestleMania and not had all those matches with Big Daddy Cool because they could have saved the Sid versus Diesel Diesel versus Psycho Sid for SummerSlam. But I mean, you look at Luger was still a face. Shawn,
and he's not on the card.
No, I'll talk about that. We can talk about that later. Shawn, babyface. Razor, babyface. Bret, babyface. Undertaker, babyface. Yeah. There's not. I mean, people can say Diesel didn't draw, but I would say obviously not. He's in a worse situation, but like Roman, who does he fight? Like, I mean, who? If it's not Mabel. and people can say, Sid, I went and looked up some old tweets about this SummerSlam, not tweets, but I'm just like, what people had wrote on pages, and like, the card could have been this, and the card. We had seen Sid, I didn't realize this, versus Diesel like 3 or 4 times since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So that can't be the main event. They ruined that one.
Well, Shawn, he turned on Shawn right after WrestleMania, and then they ended up fighting. You know, I have never, because I haven't thought about this pay-per-view in 30 years because it's that bad. I never thought about that. You're exactly right. When you look at this card, first of all, Sid is not on the card.
No.
They talk about him. Luger's not
there
on the card,
like
but then your heels, Mabel, who just went solo this summer, and they push him to the main event. Isaac Yankem, this is his very first singles match.
And he jobs. I looked up him. He's complete jobber. He jobs for like the whole year to multiple different guys, but he just gets
not
fed
on
to
anything.
People. No.
Yeah, and then like your next is Kama. You know, so you're exactly right, man.
They use Ted DiBiase's name. It's the corporation.
Right.
These guys are either A, past their prime, or B, they're just not cutting the mustard, brother.
It's not my fault that he can't cut the mustard.
They put DiBiase as their front man, hoping that he would elevate them all up. And nobody was buying the corporation as a viable main event faction.
Well, in this era as well, you know, everybody will say, what is the worst WrestleManias of all time? 9, 11, 27. Man, I would say 95 is even worse than 93, and I think we just kind of explained that. And then on top of that, this was really the height among anything of the what is it? The employment gimmicks. You know, you're a janitor, or you're a plumber, or you're this or that. You've got a ton of that in here in the kid stuff. You know, people want to talk about Vince today and John Cena and whatever about, oh, it's too much little kid stuff. And go watch this. Go watch 1995.
Todd Pettengill.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, nobody over the age of like 6 liked him. I don't think. I mean, and everything even when they show you on this, everything's like flashy, almost like cheesy MTV, if that will. Like it's a really different age of wrestling.
Yeah, it's not good, man. I would say, again, anybody that thinks Vince is, it's too little kid, go watch this. This is not good whatsoever. Well, let's jump into it a little bit here.
The SummerSlam.
You mentioned Todd Pettengill and the beginning of this show and the intro. There's so many things that don't make any sense to me. And Diesel, they got him as a good guy now, and he's talking, I'll come at you with a blowtorch. Your kingdom, soon, Armageddon. He's like not even saying sentences. Like he's just, and Pettengill is being Pettengill, which he does throughout the show, just goofy writing and sing-song kid crap.
Is he the worst?
Excellent question.
Yeah, he might be.
In WWE, at least. I think I would take, I know you hate Lord Alfred, but I think Lord Alfred's better than him.
My word. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
There's a couple in there that aren't very good. I would have to think about it. At least the guy had charisma, but it was just so over the top. Anyway, Face the Heat is what we're talking about. They start the show, dude, with Dean Douglas, who just came from ECW, over his heck as this, telling it the way it is, tough guy with a girl, and they turn him into freaking Dean Douglas. And throughout this show, we go to him, and he's got a chalkboard, and he's telling us his word of the day and the definitions.
He's going to grade the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and just what are we doing? We're starting with that. It's terrible. 1, 2, 3 kid takes on Hakushi in the opener. Nick, your thoughts here? You know, Hakushi is a guy that I actually liked. He had a feud with Brett, which I thought was decent. He's a decent wrestler.
The guy can go.
1, 2, 3 kid can go. I thought this was a pretty good match.
This match is a solid match. No botches. Hakushi wins with a power slide slam or power bomb side slam. It was a good match. I mean, and again, you're going to hear this again more times tonight. Nothing really special, though. There's no like rewind or remember. When you get two little dudes like this in the ring, these guys can both go to a certain degree. If you like that style, do something, man. Do some move to, differentiate yourself.
I thought there was one. Hakushi, the modern day kamikaze, like did a back handspring over the top rope to the outside.
Yeah, he does that. That's a cool move.
Never saw anything like that. And, when the old Bucks are doing that stuff today, they land a foot and a half from the guy, and this is 1995. I thought that was decent.
Match was a clean match. It was very clean. Like, it was well worked, but just, again, the 1, 2, 3 kid, I think at this point, is on the way down. It's not if you ever would say he was as over as he was. Yeah. And Hakushi, although he could work, I don't know that he ever really got over or anybody really wanted to see him on the card.
Yeah, he was gone right after this. And since you mentioned 1, 2, 3, another theme throughout the night, and just anytime Vince is on commentary, it's Vince and the King, by the way. 1, 2, 3. He got him. He got him. Wait, no, he didn't. We got one of those in the opening match. I thought that was pretty sweet. And we'll get a few more of those throughout the night. We then go to a Mabel interview. They shoot him from the floor to make him like we need him to be any bigger. They shoot him from he says like the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. He says it backwards.
Yeah.
I don't like and dude, and Doc Hendricks, he took all of the cocaine before this match. I mean, he is just going like, whoa, calm down. He's having a seizure while he's talking to this guy, and he does that a couple of times as well throughout the night. Any thoughts on the mic skills of Mabel?
Average carpentry skills.
Dude, I can just see Vince. Look at him. He's huge. And again, this is coming from me, a guy that likes the big guys. Mm-hmm. Just because someone's big doesn't mean they should be in the main event. And Mabel was a prime example of that.
Yeah. So then we go to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. This is his the
blue blood
gimmick. Yeah, he's facing Bob Sparkplug Holly, fresh off the name change from Thurman Sparky Plug, as if that was good. I know how to fix this gimmick. I know how to do it.
Who thought a race car driver was cool?
Well,
why?
Dale Earnhardt. I don't.
I guess, man.
Dude, these are the profession gimmicks. Like,
right, but I mean, you're
a TV repairman, or are you a wrestler? What are you?
Can his driving skills help him in this? Like, I don't understand.
Maybe he makes quick moves.
I get, you know what? I'll give it to you. With the Goon, even makes more sense than this dude. At least the Goon may have been fighting on hockey skates or something. This guy drives vehicles. Why would that translate to I kick butt in the ring? I don't.
Quick reflexes. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, match is good. It's okay.
Except for Triple H is brand new, and his gimmick blows.
It was one we've seen a million times. I mean, you've seen guys before and after this gimmick. Still, I mean, Regal used it. Dave Squire. Was it Taylor?
Yep.
And I'm probably forgetting some that came along before in the, but this, wipe your feet as you get in, nose up at the people. This has been and it's never been anything more than a low mid-card gimmick, I think, in any incarnation of it.
And Triple H did not take off until he got rid of the gimmick. Triple H wins. In wrestling, as always, 5 years behind everything. The referee has a mullet. It's 1995, and he's not the only one that does. I just kept looking at his mullet the entire time, and I don't know what referee it is. He was around forever. They're always at least 5 years behind, man.
They are.
Triple H comes out. His music sucks. He yells at Vladimir in the front row, though. Vladimir's there, so he gets yelled at. That was kind of funny. Triple H wins it. They cut to the Bulldog during this match too, because what a better match to do it when nobody cares. And then did the Bulldog, did I miss something? Was he even did he do anything?
Can we say this is my nitpicking, Ryan? So we'll come back and we're going to hit this. But yeah, 100%. I got 3 guys I got a problem with.
Well, they keep talking about the Bulldog. He's going to be here. He's going to be here.
Right.
Then they show him show up during the match. He does nothing the rest of the night. The Blue Brothers against the Smoking Guns. Was there no tag team title match on this?
Owen Hart and Yokozuna are the champs.
So Owen and Yoko are not on this card. Luger, not on this card. Sid, not on this card. Bulldog, not on this card. But we get the Blue Brothers, Barry Horowitz, Skip.
It's unreal.
Yeah, this is unbelievable, man.
It's unreal.
So, all right. Blue Brothers, Smoking Guns. I don't know why they're fighting. They may be fighting for a reason, whatever.
And for anybody who didn't know out there, the Blue Brothers are also, what was it? I wrote
the Harris
Skull
twins.
and 8 Ball, Disciples of Apocalypse. And they were also Patrick and Gerald on Creative Control.
Yes, in WCW.
In WCW with the powers that be.
Yep. And here they're both the fake Bruiser Brody. I mean, how many guys do we have to go? He'll be the new Bruiser Brody. Can we be done with that? Like, what? Oh my god!
And these guys actually, they could wrestle a little bit for that era. They were big dudes. Again, you wonder with this era how many guys were strapped with crippling gimmicks that maybe I'm not saying these 2 guys are main eventing WrestleMania, but I mean they were big dudes that could go. I mean maybe they've used the Blue Brothers gimmick, and then the Smoking Guns. Not any better. They got cap guns.
Yeah,
dude.
and they're
if it can't get any, Vince, it's too kid-like today. They had cap guns, man. Like, Jesus, come on. It was so bad.
They win. Their finisher's actually somewhat cool. It's like the Demolition's only a leg drop.
Again, they can work
an elbow.
both. I don't mind the Smoking Guns, Bart and Billy. It's just the Smoking Guns gimmick is terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And I never liked it. I was 15 at this point, 13 maybe when they came out. I thought they were terrible. This was another match that was so bad that I was just looking at everything else going on. Because I didn't care. It wasn't like probably the worst match ever, but I didn't care. So I'm looking at Billy and I'm like, he's like 40 pounds heavier today than he was in jacked. So, he's roided out of his mind. We got at least one more. 1, 2, 3. No, he didn't get it. Then we started getting anything can happen here in the World Wrestling Federation. We got every Vinceism on earth in this match. What a maneuver! Unbelievable! We got them all in this. Also, referee Mike Chioda has a mullet. So we are now 2 for 3. If you're keeping at the mullet meter, 2 for 3.
And I'd say in all 3 of these first matches, the one positive thing you can say, they're well worked. Yeah, the wrestling is fun for that era. Remember, it's not the era where guys are nuking people yet. So but for that era, they're just, who cares? Crappy gimmicks.
Yeah.
But they're not bad matches.
Right. We got our first real taste of Pettengill here. They run a package pre-match for Barry Horowitz, and they talk about what happened. If you didn't know, Horowitz is a jobber. He pins this guy named the Body Donna. It's Chris Candido, Skip, and then he beats him again in like a beat the clock challenge. So they're talking about this, but they call like Skip an Adonis, and he talks about, how embarrassing, his sculpted body gets pinned to them. Like, sculpted body? Chris Candido? Are we looking at the same guy? Like, what is this?
I don't know.
And then, so he's fighting Horowitz again. He wins, Horowitz wins again. I'll let you talk if you want about the match, but I'm like, I remember watching this as a kid and going, well, that's cool. Horowitz is getting, but he's beating another jobber. Like, Skip just showed up before this. It wasn't like Skip had some amazing run and then, oh my gosh, he beat Skip.
Right.
Like, the guy just showed up like a couple of weeks ago and is talking about how sweet he is, and he's got a worse body than I do. Like,
I don't even think it was more that people cared about. They did a good job of making you feel sorry for Barry Horowitz at this point in time. Like, you felt like, yeah, when I was watching it, you were like, come on, Barry, you know, the underdog, get the win. I'll just say this, dude. Barry Horowitz has a win on a SummerSlam. We're not talking in your house, King of the Ring.
Summerfest.
Barry Horowitz has a win on a SummerSlam pay-per-view, man.
Anything's possible!
Hundreds of wrestlers probably can't say.
We should have went and looked to see if there were any major dudes that haven't won. There has to be.
I'm sure there are. Dude, he has a win on a – oh, my God.
And he fought that year. He fought at SummerSlam, I think, in Your House or two, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble 96. So and Horowitz had a run.
And if you're thinking – this is the first one, as you said. Not only is that – there's a feud. He has a promo leading up in –
a package. A pre-match freaking package.
Barry freaking Horowitz. And again, he's one of my favorite one or two jobbers of all time, man. That's incredible to me. Small packages, Skip for the win.
I was paying attention to everything else. Earl Hebner was the ref. He does not have a mullet, so the streak is over. Anything can happen here in the World Wrestling Federation. And then King says something about, I'd like to see Siskel, or this is like Siskel and Ebert fighting. He goes, it could happen here in the World Wrestling Federation.
For life.
Women's championship match. Bertha Faye against Alundra Blaze. They are really pumping Blaze. They tried to make her somebody. She gets pyro coming out and all this stuff. Nick, I don't remember a thing about Bertha Faye. I have not watched this pay-per-view since it aired in 1995. I know the name. I didn't remember anything about her. And when I saw her, I was like, what am I seeing?
I looked it up. The women's title was deactivated in the very, very early 90s or late 80s. They just says deactivated.
After Sherry, it was done.
And they bring it back. And they've basically got three people going for it. You know, Bertha Faye, Alundra Blaze, and I think Bull Nakano.
Yeah.
And they never put the time in. They never gathered the stars. It was almost like a 24/7 hardcore title is today. How do you get me to care about this? It's not a real title. There's not a real division. There's only three people, and they're just on spotchy times. They're not constantly getting pushed.
Right.
Again, I thought the match was fine for what it was, but this is the worst era, not only in women's wrestling.
No
it's
doubt.
terrible. There's not women's wrestlers.
Well, it's just funny they push Blaze like crazy. They say she just won the belt back from Bull Nakano, and then she loses.
Yeah.
Clean as day. And Bertha, I don't know if they call it the Bertha bomb or what, but she wins this sucker, then cuts a promo afterward. But I want to go back. I was completely shocked because I didn't know. I think we probably went and played basketball out in the driveway.
I don't think I cared.
I don't remember a thing about this.
No, this was go refill your Coke, go use the restroom, get a bag of chips, whatever, shoot some hoops real quick outside.
Her music, the Bertha Faye music, I actually got somewhat of a kick out of it because it was so bad.
Bertha Faye. I love you more than anything. Bertha Faye, always be mine.
But the other thing about this match, again, 1, 2, she got her. No, she didn't. The commentary here, you've heard of buns of steel? She has buns of cinnamon.
Yeah.
Bertha knows how to throw her weight around.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Bertha misses off the top rope. They go, I think the whole building shook. And he just keeps calling her Big Bertha. That's Big Bertha. You can't do any of this stuff. So anyway, for whatever sick reason, this match stood out to me more than anything else on this card. And then at the end, she cuts the promo. She goes, I have the beauty, the shiny gold belt now that I can put around my slim, fast waist.
Well, and the belt will be deactivated 2 years later.
Yeah, well, right.
That's what it is.
I don't know what they were doing with it. I mean, if they're trying to get Blaze over. But anyway, moving on. We have another package. This one is on The Undertaker and Kama. The whole gimmick here is they've been fighting since WrestleMania, by the way, which I cannot believe this kept going. Because, again, they had nobody else to fight. He melted down the urn into a gold chain. That's the angle here. They must say creatures of the night 12 times during this package. I'm like, what are we doing? Anyway, I
think the urn even comes back, doesn't it, later?
Right. The urn comes back. And I don't know what the power of the urn is, but even if you remelted it into an urn, what about the ashes?
Yeah, the power inside? So it's the gold urn that's the power?
It's actually just the gold. I don't know. I guess Hogan had already thrown the ashes in his face in Texas. So anyway, it takes 2 minutes and 27 seconds for The Undertaker to get to the ring. Right. Taker wins. Anything on this match?
This card the worst part about this, The Undertaker is a key marquee guy, and this is where we're going to get back to the Sids, the Bulldogs, the Lugers not being on this card later. Mm-hmm. No one thought Kama had a prayer here. That's another bad problem with this match. And that's a problem with a lot of Taker SummerSlam matches back in the early days when you look. No one thought Kamala was beating this guy. No one thought the fake Taker was beating this guy. You know, these matches are just kind of like throwaway. It's just not interesting because his opponent stinks, and I don't think there's a prayer he can beat him.
Right. I had something I just completely... whatever, call me a nerd. They both go in the casket at one point.
Yeah.
The lid shuts. Why is the match not over?
Good point.
This is the problem with these stupid matches. Yeah. There's stuff like that happens that you have no explanation or answer to. Yeah. Should have been actually like a double DQ or a double count out. Yeah. No, match is over, casket closed.
And they're in there for a while. It's not like 5 minutes or anything, but
or at least explain it like match cannot end. Only one man must be in the casket. Have the announcers cover it. Yeah, these whether they're casket, buried alive, ascend to heaven, whatever you're doing, they're bad. Right. I've never liked them, Ryan. I'm sorry. I think they're terrible, stupid matches.
Absolutely. A couple of more anything can happen here in the World Wrestling Federations during this match. This match just went way too long. I think it was 16 minutes. Yeah, dude, nobody needs to see that. But The Undertaker and Kama were boys, so there you go. We then go to maybe the worst thing on the card.
It is
a package, the whole section, but a package on Brett and Isaac Yankem.
The SummerSlam.
He's been fighting Lawler here for a couple of years, like a 2-year plus feud here. And this was, again, Pettingale. He's talking about, he had his little piggy put in his mouth. And this whole thing was this sing-song writing about who knows. And I'm just like, you got to know why everybody loves the NWO so much, because it saved us from this stuff here. I mean, this was just awful. And then, Lawler has Yankem come out. His very first match, Yankem is Kane. If you weren't aware of that, I'm sure if you're watching this, you knew that. It's so bad. It's so bad.
His music, Ryan.
It might be all time.
Drill.
Over and over and over.
That or Slaughter? Which
it's
one's
that,
worse?
that Sergeant Slaughter's drum roll nonstop and right to censor. I totally forgot again because I've not watched this. I forgot about Rear.
It's terrible, man.
It's bad. Brett wins by DQ because Lawler gets in there. They do the hangman between the ropes, and then this is.
Who would
just
go
so
to a bad
bad.
dentist? Did this never set across anybody? Like, I always thought this. Even I'm 16 years old or so. I'm thinking, like, how is this guy a dentist? How would he maintain a business? He's a terrible dentist. That's his gimmick,
right?
Like,
and his teeth are all jacked up.
This is just terrible. Like, who thought that was a good idea? It's enough. It's just you're going again toward almost like a horror film gimmick.
Yeah,
like this, the evil dent, or what? It just,
well, and how do you get up from this? Like, okay, you're the evil dentist. You're Jerry Lawler's evil dentist. You fight one feud, then what? There's nowhere to go from here. Like, it's a one-off gimmick. And he did. He was done after this until he came back as the fake Diesel a year later. Oh, another terrible gimmick. Dude, Brett interviews. Go ahead.
Like the Cyclops thing? Yeah, he looks like an X-Men or something out of there.
God. Brett calls him DDS. He calls him a big tooth fairy. That ain't working today. And then he goes, I don't care if you're a dentist. And I'm like, yeah, take that, Britt Baker. Nobody cares. Another, you got to have a job gimmick. Like, are you a dentist or are you a wrestler? Like,
the match did not flow well either. Yankem misses some punches and kicks with pretty decent range of miss. I wrote this: refs won't DQ Brett for trying up Yankem's feet with the cords. And then the ref counts as Jerry chokes Brett from the he's choking Brett, and the ref's going 1, 2. Shouldn't that be a DQ if someone else is choking the
someone
guy?
Else, yes. Yes.
And then he DQs Yankem later.
Right.
It just like it's another one of those like head scratchers. Like there were about 8 circumstances where you could have DQ'd one of these guys, and then you decide to DQ them. But
right. I don't know, man. Few more 1, 2, 3 yes nos. Unbelievable.
Terrible match. Terrible gimmick.
Well, how about Brett in 95? Until the end when he wins the belt back or Survivor Series, I mean, he just had he's fighting Backlund, then
probably
he's fighting DDS, he's fighting Hakushi, he's fighting Lawler for 2 years. I mean,
Jean-Pierre Lafitte this year, I think he fights him.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's just terrible for poor Brett, man. Again, they got no heels.
No heels. Razor, an interview here with what's his name, Doc Hendricks, who did more blow before this match.
I smoke blacks.
And then we get to the match of this pay-per-view. It's Shawn and Razor, the rematch from WrestleMania 10, ladder match. Michaels ends up winning this. He does get his revenge. Mm-hmm. You can tell the big push is on. They're going to push Michaels to the stratosphere here. Your thoughts here? Anything that stood out? A couple of spots were pretty good that Shawn took.
Yeah, I thought Shawn took a suplex from the inside to the outside that looked like might be the start of what jacked up his back. I don't know. But
yeah, his leg on the railing.
But even over like the match kind of, I don't know if the word is forced I'm looking for. It wasn't something that I really wanted to see at that point.
Yes.
These two faces go at it. And to me, when people have such, and especially because it's not like you're not in the middle of a feud. This isn't part 2 of a best of 3 feud in a row. This match happened over a year ago. And you're trying to recreate magic.
Yes.
And that rarely works, man.
I thought the same thing back in the day as well. I didn't want to see it because I was like, I've already seen this, and it was great. And
right.
There's no way you can live up to it. And I don't think it did, to be honest.
No, it did. And even if you thought it did, it certainly fell short when you got to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It took the third time's a charm, I guess. I'm pretty sure Michael's sweet chin kicks Razor off the ladder. and then he jumps at the belt and misses it. And then he gets back up, climbs up there, jumps at the belt again. The belt won't freaking come down. Then he has to hit Razor again. On the third try, he got it. Again, I understand these things happen, but to me, that takes away a little bit from the match when it doesn't finish correctly.
Yeah, I actually do want to get into this match a hair because it is the match of the show.
It's the best match probably still.
They're pushing Shawn through the roof, and a Razor chant breaks out before the match. Not a Shawn. And he obviously had fans, but, I thought the couple of moves he did was sweet. He hit his leg on the railing of that backdrop. He then did another one where he gets knocked off the ladder and his leg slips through the rungs of the ladder and he tips over. And it looked like, oh my gosh, he really jacked his leg up here. And then that becomes the story of the match. Razor taking out his leg.
I'm going after your leg.
So he can't climb that ladder. He deals on Shawn Michaels for as long as I have ever seen anybody. And we do not see psychology like that in matches anymore at all. And this is overdone. I mean, he was dealing on him for like 7 or 8 minutes of this 25-minute match. And then once Shawn starts his comeback, he doesn't sell at all. He's just miracle healed. And he's flying around and climbing. I mean, he maybe limps for 4 seconds. And then he's just perfectly fine. I've never seen anybody get dealt on that much. This match is slow to me. I remember then everything you said, not wanting to really see it just because we already had and all that. And then on top of that, I was like, it wasn't as good. It was very slow to me. Shawn botches the finish. And I have seen it. It's been 20 years at least. I'm still underwhelmed here. Yeah, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean it's bad, but
no, it's not.
I'm underwhelmed.
Match, but it's not good. It's not. I wouldn't say it was. I mean, it's okay, but it's not good. That's
not today's eyes, because watching it as I did yesterday, I did not sit here and go, you cannot look at it like WrestleMania 17 and WrestleMania. Right. You cannot look at it like that. You got to put yourself back in. So, I don't know what people see here. And again, 15-year-old Ryan said the same thing. So I
think it's able to hide a little more. The card's so bad. Everything's so bad on this. It looks so much better. Because when you do look at this card, it's still the best match on the card. As far as I think, because the other ones, it's just, I don't want to watch Sparky Plug. I mean, it just, I don't know.
What about Bob Sparkplug Holly? It's two different guys. I don't know. Two different guys. Well, dude, right after this, Dean Douglas comes out and his word is bad. And he goes, the definition of bad. And I'm like, yeah, that about sums up the night.
I agree with the grade, man. I agree with the grade.
Vince yells, unbelievable, twice after that. But yeah, then our main event, Mabel comes out. They are carrying this man that they say is 568. They're carrying him Macho Man style.
Right.
It was crazy. Couple of more unbelievables. Couple of more. 1, 2, 3. He got him. No. Mabel, the famous spot where he sits on Diesel's back and he almost got fired afterward. Vince was going to fire him because Nash got hurt.
Break his back, make him humble.
And then he didn't. Anyway, Mo gets in there. Luger comes out of nowhere to save. And he gets just dealt on immediately. Thanks a lot, pal. A lot of help you are.
But it doesn't set up. Do we get Luger?
Luger leaves
Diesel?
a week later. A week later, he showed up on Nitro.
Disgusting, despicable.
So Diesel wins with a clothesline off the second rope. I don't know if there's anything to say about that. I mean, dude, it's bad.
You know what actually could, and I don't know if it's possible, what could have saved that match is a powerbomb. If he got him. I don't know if he could have got him.
I don't think so, man. But at least the Giant was an athlete.
But that's what you say. Yeah, It ends with a clothesline off the top rope. Ryan, that's this whole pay-per-view. There's not, I mean, yeah, there's a couple, like, you know, I guess you can say Sean, you know, there's a couple moves in the ladder match with Razor. Just no real memorable spots on the card. Like, I hate to use the word SummerSlam moment, but there really isn't. In that last, and I mean, King Mable I never bought him as a top tier guy, even though they pushed him.
Like right after this.
Yep, he's done.
And it's just brutal, man. I mean, the star power. Yeah, you have Diesel, you have Shawn, but that was not Kevin Nash, and it wasn't Shawn at the next level. Brett was in the middle of a rut. I mean, you got nothing. The Taker's in his purple, and
I think that might even been the year he had that mask or some crap.
It was shortly after this. Yeah.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
96.
Phantom of the Opera thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had some thoughts before we run it back with our categories here at the end. You had some extra thoughts, did you not? And I know you talked to me a little bit about comparing
Ryan,
this to today's era.
Do you know anything about why are these guys not on this card? When you go down here,
I don't.
Do you know, like, what's going on with Sid, Ryan? Do you know why he's not?
They're talking about him. He's fighting the winner of the ladder match.
To my knowledge, they had no idea. I mean, hindsight, Luger leaves, so maybe it's good he doesn't beat one of your top tier guys and then head off to Nitro.
Right.
But you didn't know that. You're the tag freaking champions.
Bogus!
They're not. I mean, maybe they were in a dark match. I don't know, but
I have half the brain that you do.
The Bulldog, I mean, I'm thinking Brett. Brett could have fought Sid or the Bulldog and had a way better match than freaking, you know, even Luger could have turned heel. Maybe Luger versus Diesel. And he joined. Well,
they were talking like, where is his allegiance and all that? Because he was kind of a tweener there.
Right.
I don't know.
Bogus!
I don't know.
That was my big thing on this. Like, I just can't believe all these guys. And it, like I said, it's not the worst, as bad as I remember it as far as guys. They have dudes, but they're all stale or not being used correctly.
Yeah. Well, and you know, with Luger, no wonder he left. He's not even on the card. He runs down and gets dealt on. Like against Mo.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it, Nick. Before we wrap this sucker up, let's run it back. SummerSlam 95 with our categories. Let's hit it. All right, our first category. Let's start with the line of the night. Normally, Lawler is great. I don't think he had a ton of stuff here. Any special lines, anything that any of the wrestlers said that stood out to you?
I got a couple here. I don't know if I'm going to steal one of yours or anything. I do have Lawler's. I don't understand why they dress up as cowboys. And Vince, I don't know why this made me laugh. Vince said, "They are cowboys. They are the real deal." And
classic Vince.
And Lawler, I got more degrees than a thermometer. I don't know.
That's pretty good. I've not heard. I must have missed that.
And Lawler talk. Oh man, he was talking about the chance of somebody for their chance of winning. Barry Horowitz, and he said, "I looked up his name in the program, and it said, yeah, right." I gotta go with that one.
That's a good one. I think that's the best one. Again, I've hit at it numerous times. It's so weird. I thought Vince was great with Ventura back in the day.
He was.
He didn't do all the crap that he started doing in the 90s, all the junk that I said over and over again, because he said it all. He's so bad, man. Like it's borderline unlistenable. To me, the line of the night was Dean Douglas after the ladder match. Bad. The definition of bad, a failure to reach an acceptable level of performance. I'm like, that should have been the freaking title, not Feel the Heat or whatever it was.
In my opinion, that sucked.
SummerSlam 95. Bad.
A failure to reach an acceptable level of performance. That's Terrible. How about funniest moment? Did you already hit that? Or
No, I don't know if you caught this. Razor Ramon is getting interviewed in the back, and some dude just walks in front of him. And I thought at first, I was like, and if anybody is one of our 3 viewers, if any of you out there can pause it, I rewound it and paused it. I could not figure out who that is. I don't know if it was someone trying, like, but they both look at him like Razor and who was interviewing? I think it might have been Doc.
Doc Hendricks, yeah.
Yeah, they look at the guy.
It was
like,
probably Doc's dealer walking.
Yeah. But it was just funny because it didn't seemingly wasn't part of the promo for Razor, but he just cut like we're live.
Yeah, buddy. We're live, pal. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I didn't know if that was to set something up or what. I had no idea either. To me, and it might be unspeakable nowadays, but it made me laugh because I couldn't believe it when Bertha Faye jumps off the top rope and lands flat, and he goes, the whole building shook. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I can't believe you said that. Maybe it's what aged the worst, and let's start right there. Outside of this entire show, what has aged the worst is the Bertha Faye fat shaming throughout the commentary, on top of just the suckitude, if I can steal a word from Dean Douglas, of the entire night. How about what has aged the worst on this show?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, we always say Hakushi, the modern day kamikaze, is probably not the greatest thing to say, but I think what's aged the worst and which makes this pay-per-view worse for me is what we said earlier. Nobody does anything to make it memorable. There's not a moment in time. There's not a moment in the match. There's nothing. That's to me what ages the worst out of this thing.
Yeah,
it's even as a bad. There's some bad pay-per-views out there, some real bad ones. I mean, the first one where the WrestleMania where Austin fights The Rock. The very first one, it's a bad
15,
WrestleMania
15.
But there's some moments on that pay-per-view. There's still something. This one doesn't have anything.
Yeah. How about, is there anything that has aged the best?
I'll tell you this, I thought was kind of shocked me. I don't know if it was the first time. Maybe they've done it before. The casket cam was a pretty cool angle for me when they went beneath and they showed the guys coming into the cam. Yep. I can't remember if this was a thing they have done over and over or if it was a new there, but I like the casket cam.
I will say, and they used to do it, but this seemed like they were doing it in a different way than they had in the past. The interviews before the matches, and they kind of do it now on Raw, right before the guy walks through the curtain in the gorilla position. They're interviewing the guy right then, getting his immediate thoughts before he steps out for the big fight. I liked that, and I don't remember seeing that on a lot of pay-per-views even back then. Yeah, they might have had their Mean Gene interview, but this was like the second before they came out, and it was live, pal. So I liked that. The most rewatchable scene on this show, is there anything that you could go back and check out again?
To laugh for me, Shawn taking 3 times to get the belt. I mean, that's all I could think, to be honest, because I went through this and I was looking at this, right, and I'm like, man, this is what where's that big move? Is there a power bomb or is there something Brett gets thrown over into a table? There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels. And I don't mean, I love Shawn Michaels. And God knows I love Scott Hall. 2 of the best to ever freaking do it. But the end of that match is just laugh out loud funny to me, him trying to get the belt. That's what I would say most rewatchable.
I will say the same match, and not in a bad way, a good way. That bump that Michaels took where he falls off the ladder, leg slips through, the ladder tips over. I'm like, oh, dude, he could have busted his leg right there, blown his knee out, whatever. It was a cool spot. I wanted to see it again. I'm like, how did he not get hurt on that? I thought that was cool. That's the most rewatchable scene of the night for me. Match of the night. What would it be, Nick?
Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, the ladder match. And not because it was so great, because the other ones either were bad or didn't care. They belonged on Saturday Morning Superstars. Like that's where I expect to see the Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Sparkplug Bob Holly, or 1-2-3 Kid versus Hakushi. You know, these are terrible. Freaking Barry Horowitz versus Skip is on SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You know, that's freaking bad.
That wasn't even on Superstars originally. That was on Action Zone.
Yeah, jeez. And that's why I got to go. I for lack of another match, it's got to be Shawn Razor.
I have done this one other time, I think, on one of our shows where there was like only one decent thing, and I picked something else. I'm doing it again. 1-2-3 Kid against Hakushi is the match of the night, because, well, the ladder match didn't suck. I think it was so underwhelming, and this match surprised me. And I will say, I thought they could have done something with Hakushi, who was only there for 6 months or whatever it was. I thought it was a good match, just based on work alone. I'm saying Kid versus Hakushi.
I was shocked too when I remember I was just I remember when I turned it on, I was like, oh, these two.
Yeah, no one cares.
I don't want to watch this. And then when I watched it, it's a good match. And they like I said, it's really good flow. They hit everything.
Well, and I think it's a match that may have aged the best because it's two guys no one cared about with no feud. Like a Wednesday night. So that match probably, just random matches for no reason.
And it's got some guy from Japan.
Who no one knows.
Actually, more people probably know Hakushi.
I bet you.
He was built better. I knew who the hell he was.
I know his name. I know that. So, holy crap. And there we go. It only took almost an hour to get to that.
And we got recorded.
Hottest take of the night, if we are not canceled. Hottest take. What is your burning fire take?
Ryan, as bad as this is.
Uh-oh.
This is unbelievable to me. Every one of these matches has someone in it who plays a major role in the Monday Night Wars. An unbelievable role in the Monday. From Alundra Blaze putting the title in the trash to Diesel, Hall, Shawn, Brett, Kane, Triple H, the 1-2-3 Kid.
And that jabroni Brian Blair.
Everyone on this freaking card, Papa Shango, the Godfather, Undertaker. This match, it shows you in bad eras of wrestling, it's not the wrestlers necessarily. It's the writing. It's the gimmicks. It's the non-storylines. They got dudes. They're all huge. 2-3 years
just didn't know how to use them yet.
They didn't know how to use them. I mean, when you look down this card, Ryan, every match, I'm not saying I was a huge fan of everybody on here. This Billy Gunn, huge during the, well, maybe
what about
not
Bertha Faye?
Well, at least one.
Alundra
Blaze throwing that title in the trash was huge,
I had never thought about that.
That's my biggest takeaway, that these people on the worst pay-per-view in SummerSlam history will, in 2 to 3 years, be some of the most memorable names in sports entertainment history.
I didn't think about it.
Look at you, giant idiot.
My hottest takeaway is, and I've hinted at it a little bit here, I don't think the ladder match is good. I have not watched it in years. 15-year-old didn't like it. Didn't like it today. Haven't had any reason to go watch it. And
neither does 28-year-old Nick Hortz. I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't ever want to watch it again. I don't see what anybody's talking about. There, the botched finish, Sean's butt coming out that we didn't even talk about, that he felt he needed to do all the time. And I was bored, brother. And I thought it was slow. And I will say this, and I'll take it a step further. I think this rivals Macho Man against Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7 for one of the most overrated matches in the history of the WWE.
I know you hate that other match, and I'm not going to get into going at you with this one. Do people really think this match is that good, though? Is it remembered?
Yeah, and I don't know who you talk to. Some people say it's better than the Mania match.
That's a load of
I
garbage.
I don't understand that at all. But if that's 5 stars, people think this is at least 4 stars.
Oh, it's not.
And I think it's 2 stars. I was bored. I'm like, how long what are we doing here? What?
You're 100% right, Ryan. Like I said, it stands out because the card is so bad. The other matches aren't necessarily bad, but they're just like people common. Nobody cared. Hakushi, nobody cared. Holly, nobody cared. The Blue Brothers, nobody cared.
It's
Skip.
the only match with 2 guys that matter.
That's it.
It's the only one.
Yep.
All of that said by me, and yes, it rivals Warrior Macho as the most overrated.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
The guy who won the night. Who won the night, Nick? And it's HBK who wins the night because you can see them pushing. He's going to be the guy. They are going to put him at that next level. So that's why he wins the night, even though he kept diving and missing the belt.
All right, if you choose him, because I'm in total agreement with you, HBK wins the night.
Yeah.
On a lesser note.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Barry frickin' Horowitz. Right.
Well, I mean, he did.
He's a jobber that wrestled at SummerSlam and won. He has a win at SummerSlam, man. I get it. Sean won the night because, like you said, the Rockets are on. This guy's off. He's going to win the title at WrestleMania. Great match, an Iron Man match versus Bret Hart.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm still in awe. Barry Horowitz, a jobber, not only on a pay-per-view like SD Jones with King Kong Bundy. This dude wins and was in an actual angle.
Yeah. He got a pre-match package.
Yeah.
Other guys didn't.
For him, this is the moment in his career. This is as big as he ever was.
Yeah.
For him,
I missed best moment of the night. Is that your moment of the night, Barry Horowitz winning?
My moment of the night was Shawn Michaels I love that suplex, getting suplex to the outside.
It's good.
But
move.
Yeah, it could rival Barry. I just can't. I know people. I'm insane when I say this, but just for someone like me, like Iron Mike Sharp, Red Tyler, Salvatore Bellomo, these guys didn't. A, they didn't win matches. B, they sure as hell didn't win at pay-per-views.
They weren't even on them.
And especially a pay-per-view.
Jones.
Like, remember, this is still an era when In Your House was like a B pay-per-view. You still had the 4 big dogs.
Yep.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble.
And Summerfest.
Hey, Barry Horowitz, hats off, man. Moment of your life, man.
Absolutely. This little wrap it up here. This to me is the worst SummerSlam ever.
It is.
I know a lot of people think 93. I loved personally the Brett angle at 93 where Lawler came out on the crutches and he makes him fight Doink and then he fights Lawler and he won't let go of the sharpshooter. That went for an hour, which seems long when you say that, but it was good. At least that had that. There's nothing here. As you said, there's not even anything here so bad. It's funny bad, like we could make fun of it like we did on our WrestleMania 9 thing. Like, there's nothing here even worth making a ton of fun of. Like,
and even they put, what they did in 93? At least they had Lex Luger on the freaking card.
Right. Right.
I mean, they had their big dudes on the card. They may not have been great matches.
That's right, it stinks!
This has Saturday morning written all over some of these matches. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the worst SummerSlam of all time.
I will never watch this again.
Me
unless,
neither.
Terrorists make me and tie me to a chair and make me watch
I might even just eat the bullet. I
don't think it's only just the worst SummerSlam. This is one of the worst pay-per-views, period. Barry Horowitz sold 18,000 tickets in Pittsburgh, brother. Nick, thank you as always. Thank all of you guys as always for tuning in. If you could please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. We would sincerely appreciate it. It would be awesome. It helps us with everything that we do. If you think we're nuts. If somehow you like this pay-per-view, which I know some of you are going to love that ladder match, let us know. Good, bad, and indifferent.
What we miss?
Yeah, if we miss something, let us know as well. We will be here Saturday night after the pay-per-view, SummerSlam 2022, and we'll hopefully we get a good night there.
Yep, I'm scared. Let's hope.
Hey, the Triple H era has begun. Nick, thanks as always, brother.
Thank you, Ryan.
See ya!
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.